Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out to the Class of 2019 International Video Game Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We have some wonderful inductions to do this year. Very deserved games, very deserved people. Some long time coming. Some have been in queue for a little while. Some have been just patiently waiting, as we have as well. I'd like to tell you a few things about the Hall of Fame and what we do and why we do it. All of this began many, many years ago, 1981 to be exact, with a young man named Walter Day. And it is our mission to uphold and carry on his legacy, what he started in Ottumwa, Iowa some years ago. We are beginning to build this thing again, build momentum, looking for help, looking for anything we can to make this a great Hall of Fame in the video game capital of the world, which is Ottumwa, Iowa. What I also want to acknowledge is the International Video Game Hall of Fame is going through a tremendous transition right at the moment. We put in place this year committees and people to help vet, find, induct the best of the best so that our Hall of Fame can stand on its own 2 feet today, tomorrow, and going forward. That means that all of my committee members I want to acknowledge because they put a lot of time and effort in finding these great people to induct today. So with that, let me at least stand up at the very least. And I wrote them down because as Julie can attest, I'm really good at forgetting names on the spot. Even though I've known them for years, I seem to forget names. So my committee members, most importantly today, are Lonnie McDonald, Michael Klug, and he's right over here, Todd Friedman, John Klinkle, and Warren Davis, who could not make it. He is trying to be a movie star and evidently successful enough that he's filming today.
Will you accept on his behalf?
And I'll accept on his behalf any cash donations. Julie Barwick and Bill Hoffman, wherever he's at. Now, that is the core committee who spent literally months and months taking all of the nominations from the public, making sure that they fit the code of conduct, making sure they fit what the Hall of Fame stands for, making sure that they are a great asset to the industry, making sure that they are a gamer of high caliber and quality, making sure that they are industry leaders that we can all look up to and aspire to be. So my heart goes out to all of you for putting your time and dedication into this. And thank you very much. So another round for my core committee. And why that's important, I'll just briefly tell you why that is so significant and important. In the past, we didn't do that. In the past, the inductions were done very, very differently, which left, let's just say, left things to the imagination on how the process worked. Now, we all knew from the inside it wasn't that perception, but this should take that away. This is a core team that really holds value to this Hall of Fame and want to make sure that the folks we bring into this Hall of Fame are the best of the best. Now, my ground committee, the folks who helped me on the ground here putting this together are also very, very good assets and very dedicated people who believe in this project and this mission. And that is Terry and Ginny Bertlow, and Wyatt Barwick, wherever Wyatt might be, he's right here. So, and Wyatt is a former Gamer of the Year for the Old School Pinball and Arcade and Galaxies of Gaming, which is outstanding, and hopefully a future Hall of Famer. So, and he's also running the Twitch channel. So by the way, we're all live on Twitch. So a couple other things. I told you that the Hall of Fame and the museum needs you, and more importantly, needs your engagement and needs your support, however that may be. If you have things that you would like to donate for displays at the museum, we would gladly take those and give you whatever receipt you need for those. If you are a corporate sponsor and would like to engage in next year's activities to make this bigger and better and more beautiful, please come see me. Again, I don't want you to hand me cash, although I'll take it. I want to give you something in return. Please visit the vendors, the stores, everybody here participating, Old School Pinball and Arcade, who puts this activity on for you all and covers the bulk of the cost of this event here today. Please go see them. I would much appreciate it. And really, that's all I have to ask. Who I want to introduce and bring up right now is Andy Wartenberg from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I saw him a minute ago. Here he is. So I'd like for him to kick this bad boy off and tell you how the City of Ottumwa and the Convention and Visitors Bureau is engaging in what we're trying to do here. So Andy?
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me say welcome on behalf of the city. Congratulations and welcome to our inductees and everybody else who's visiting us. I'll be very brief, but Jerry asked me to share a quick story with you. I came down to interview for this job a little over a year ago. And when you go on a job interview, you've learned as much about the place as you can. I thought I knew everything about Ottumwa. I drove here, got out of my car on Main Street, and I saw a plaque. And it said, Video Game Capital of the World. I said, wow. I don't know a lot about this. We don't have a lot of information about that. This is something that we need to promote with all of our hearts. So in the last year, we formed a very, very good partnership between Jerry and his team and the city. And we're taking a lot of steps, not to just be the video game capital of the world in theory, but in practice. Some of the things we are doing in the last month, we've had what's called our Where's Walter promotion. Walter, thank you for your likeness. We've actually had Walter Day cutouts in 17 different stores. They've come in, and that's generated some excitement. Number one. Number two, after Galaxy of Gaming, I'm going to be working with Jerry and Bill and Julie, and we're actually going to start a video game trail here in Ottumwa. And of course, we're going to promote this as much as we can. And our ultimate goal is to have a signature video game event here in Ottumwa. We've already started work on that. But really, we're at a great point now where we have, Jerry and his team and a very progressive and enlightened city leadership, and we're all working together to get there. But I want to say it's really, really exciting. And for those of you that are visiting us, I can't wait for you to come back next year. We can talk about our progress. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to Jerry and Bill and Julie. These folks are not only working to further our video game heritage, but they're working to make our community better. So thanks to you guys. Thank you.
Hey, one more big round for Andy. He's been great for us. Real positive as a committee. Hey, I want to thank everybody for being here. So, it's great to see everybody come and help us celebrate some fantastic people in a fantastic community. The person I would like to introduce today takes a 2-second backstory. So in 2016, Jerry and I got together, and it was the 35th anniversary of Ottumwa being Video Game Capital of the World. We were going back and forth on Facebook, and we decided, hey, you know what? Let's meet on the 35th anniversary, and let's talk about the old arcade days. And then it turned into somebody said, well, I'll bring a video game. And then somebody said, well, maybe we can run a little party room and get everybody together. Well, fast forward, here we are, 2 years later, 3 years later. So we have the privilege of having the city's support, our city council, our city administration in full support. But I want you to back up to 2016, a 2 years, 3 years younger Bill Jr., knocking on the mayor's office saying, hey, we have an idea that might help Ottumwa. So I'm going into a mayor's office telling him how video games are going to help Ottumwa. Imagine how I felt. I will tell you what, I never met a more supportive, community person than our mayor. Our mayor has supported us in everything. He's never laughed. He never thought anything was goofy. He supported us 100%. He is such a community person. It's an honor to know him. He's helped us every step of the way. I could actually call him anytime, day or night. He would point me in the right direction. He would point me to the right person. He comes and supports our event. He's helped us gain the support of our city council, our chamber of commerce, the whole city. He's a fine man, and I'm privileged to know him. So Mayor Tom, if you will come up here, everybody, Mayor Tom Lazio.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. On behalf of the entire city staff, the city council, city administration, I want to say thank you for coming back. I'm just so impressed with all the people who come here from all over the country, and the fact that we have the Video Game Hall of Fame and all the work that Walter has done over his long career to make this an outstanding place. I certainly want to thank the committee for the work they've done to make this a real viable and living project. I think, you know, the fact I remember meeting with Jerry and talking about this and his passion and enthusiasm for this gaming. And then when I met some of the people who are in the game, Triforce and Billy, and some of the people I've met are just outstanding individuals. And so we're just pleased to have you here. We're going to keep pushing this. It's going to get bigger and better all the time. And I pledge anything we can do as a city will help you the best we can as we move forward. So thanks for coming back. Have a great time. I wish the weather was a little better for you, but can't do everything. So have a fun time this weekend, and we certainly salute the gamers this year who are going to be inducted. Thank you very much.
Okay, to get the ceremony started, I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies. I met him a few years ago. We've got to be quite close and quite good friends, and it's a friendship I cherish. So welcome to the stage, our Master of Ceremonies, the Joust Master herself, Lonnie McDonald.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the 2019 class of the International Video Game Hall of Fame. We've got a lot of inductions today. They range from computer space all the way to the current games. You're going to find it entertaining. There's a lot of video content as well as people here. And to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about Galaga, which we're going to throw up on the screen. Galaga was a 1981 shooter arcade game developed by Namco. Can you not hear me? Okay. Developed by Namco. It was released by Midway Games, controlling a starship. Galaga forces in each stage trying to avoid the enemies and capture the player's ship. And we're going to bring up Galaga expert John Klinkle, who runs Galaga Forum, to accept on behalf of Galaga. We bequeath unto you this award.
Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie. I'm greatly honored to accept this on behalf of Galaga. As he said, I'm the administrator of Galaga Forum. Since its inception in 1981, Galaga has been a staple at arcades, not only in the United States, but all around the world. It's stood the test of time. It's been ported to any system you could imagine. It's just one of the most popular games ever created. In addition, there's been somewhat of a revival the last few years. The Galaga community is growing and growing. There was a world championship last year, the first ever, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, called Score Wars, and I finished third in that competition. Andrew Barrow from New Zealand actually won it. And Armando Gonzalez, the current reigning world record holder on both tournament settings, which is 5 ships only on the most difficult setting, and also on marathon, which is you just play as long as you can until you die out. He has both records, and it's the first time anyone has ever held both simultaneously, beating a 29-year marathon record. Which is exciting, and our creation of Galaga Forum was because of this renewed interest in Galaga. It's just extremely popular. It's even on newer consoles as well. But again, I'm very honored to accept on behalf of Galaga, and greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Galaga, I played a lot of that for sure. The next award goes to Tetris, and I'm just going to say one thing about it, and then we have Chris Tang, who hosts the Tetris tournaments, will have something to say. But it was voted the greatest game of all time. The greatest game of all time. Now, it's gone down a little bit since 2007, but the greatest game of all time. That's pretty rad stuff. Chris Tang.
Boom! Hi, this is International Video Game Hall of Fame inductee and Classic Tetris World Championships commentator Chris Tang. It goes without saying that Tetris is one of the best-selling and most universally loved video games of all time. Its impact on competitive gaming goes back as far as the 1990 Nintendo World Championships, yet it pushes forward into the esports era of today with new generations of players. As Tetris celebrates its 35th birthday this year, new and innovative versions of the game continue to be created and enjoyed. Tetris has had a tremendous positive influence on my life as a player, competitor, and professional, as it has for so many others, so I am thrilled that it's being inducted into the International Video Game Hall of Fame this year. It's my pleasure to introduce, representing Blue Planet Software, President and CEO, Maya Rogers.
Hello. My name is Maya Rogers, President and CEO of Blue Planet Software, the sole agent for the Tetris brand. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the Tetris brand, and the game's hotter than ever. We've had successful game launches like Tetris Effect, which launched on the PlayStation VR, and also Tetris 99 for the Switch console. Thank you so much to the International Video Game Hall of Fame for this honor, and congratulations to all of the other inductees.
Tetris game of the year of all time, right? Pretty tough game. All right, so the next one, you guys will all think we're going way, way back. It's Computer Space, and it was made in 1971. Of course, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney partnered in this, and we have Walter Day to introduce Nolan, who will accept on behalf of Computer Space.
It's Nolan who's accepting. That's right. So Nolan Bushnell is going to be accepting up here, but I just want to make just one or two fast comments that Computer Space is like ground zero for video game playing. It was the first commercially successful game, and there's been numerous times when people have done what they call warehouse raids, and they find old warehouses from the early 80s full of video games, and there's numerous times when they found old computer spaces. And that's like finding the holy grail of video games. They're so highly sought after, and many people think they're one of the most beautiful games ever. But more important than anything is that they are like ground zero of video game history, because they were the first commercially distributed video game that started appearing on the public and launched, the video craze as we know it today. So ladies and gentlemen, Computer Space, from what would it be, 1972? Yeah, 1,000 units sold by 72. And here's Nolan Bushnell, who's one of the founders of Nuttall. I think it's called Nuttall Industries, who founded the company that created Computer Space.
Hi, I'm Nolan Bushnell, and I'm very happy that Computer Space is being inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. It was the first of its kind, and it really represented the first thing that allowed to the generation of Atari and the video game industry as we know it. I think that the game and the cabinet is very iconic, and I'm glad that it's going to be in this place of honor.
Nolan Bushnell. I'm not sure where we pulled him from, but we got a video from him. It was pretty impressive. Computer Space. The next one is Miss Pac-Man. And Miss Pac-Man, I don't know, I used to be a little addicted to Miss Pac-Man. Pac-Man wasn't as attractive, so I played a little bit more Miss Pac-Man. It actually, from what I understand, outsold Pac-Man. So to accept on behalf of Miss Pac-Man, we have Class of 2015 inductee, Tim Ballaramas.
Well, I have to start off by saying that my Ms. Pac-Man portion of my resume is, in a word, lacking. So to be able to get the opportunity on behalf of the great minds who created this great game and all the players that have played it and enjoyed it and still enjoy it to this day is just so humbling. I mean, I couldn't possibly do this game justice in the short time that I have. But just briefly, I just want to share my experience with Miss Pac-Man back in the day. You know, after I played Pac-Man and mastered that, came across this new game. I'm like, okay, looks like Pac-Man, plays like Pac-Man. It's got new mazes, different mazes. How hard could it be? How much different could it be? Well, pretty doggone different, I would say. If they had just stopped with just the aesthetics, and it was so much more colorful, so much more going on, if they had just stopped there, it would have been a great game unto itself. But then they added a random element. They made sure, and it was just so simple, so subtle, that they just randomized 2 of the ghosts for the first few seconds of each level. What that did, though, that small tweak, ensured that no 2 games of Miss Pac-Man would ever be alike. And I think just those small tweaks and the small, subtle things that, you know, yield great things, I think that gives classic games in general, and Miss Pac-Man in particular, their timeless appeal. So again, on behalf of the folks that created this great game and the players that still play it to this day, thank you to the International Video Game Hall of Fame.
Miss Pac-Man. Pretty cool. All right. The next person we have cue video is David Palmer, multiple Guinness World Record holder, including Empire Strikes Back, Star Rider, and Tron. And I enjoyed listening to his video, and not just because he's a great player, but because he also dissects games just like I do. So, David Palmer.
First off, I would like to thank the International Video Game Hall of Fame for the honor of being inducted. As far as reminiscing about my video gaming experience of the 1980s, when an anecdote from that time, and providing tips for aspiring gamers today, I thought of something that ties it all together. I am a huge science enthusiast, and I used the scientific method to crack the games back then. And although I haven't learned a new game in a while and haven't played the games that are popular today, the scientific method is a timeless principle that will apply to all such challenges. Basically, the scientific method involves being faced with a theoretical question or a practical problem and formulating a hypothesis that seeks to answer that, and then going out into the field or into the laboratory and testing whether the predicted consequences of that hypothesis hold. For example, Einstein's hypothesis of general relativity predicted that light waves would be bent within a gravitational field, and so astronomers look for that by observing the position of stars near the limb of the sun during a total solar eclipse, which is the only time they would be visible, and the results matched the predicted values, and so the hypothesis was confirmed and was elevated to the status of a theory. Well, in my case, what I would do is think about problems I was having in a game when I had off time away from that game. Either problems with racking up more points or simply surviving, or more likely both. And when I would come up with possible solutions, I'd go back and test those ideas in the machine. Battlezone was the first game I mastered, and I still consider it my best game. And I heavily used the scientific method in tackling that game. A game which was basically like chess in rapid motion. Figuring out how to position myself in the field of combat, taking account of threats that were off to the sides or behind me and which I couldn't even see, and putting all the information together to create a mental map of what was happening and how to strategically position myself to survive and take out the enemies. And it got to the point where I analyzed every incident where I died in the game, formulating possible solutions to such a problem when it would arise again, and going back to the machine to test those ideas. I would even take extensive notes from many of the games I mastered, both to memorize things and to provide raw data to use in formulating the next hypothesis. And in the case of the Star Wars trench sequence, I would actually draw out diagrams on paper in order to understand the placement of the obstacles and how I should maneuver around them. Similarly with Star Rider, which is probably my all-time favorite game, sort of like the Road Warrior movie in game format, where I would strategize on how to set up opposing cyclists to run into obstacles to both rack up points and to slow them down so I would win the race. And after testing many such hypothetical strategies, I sorted out the winning ones and went on to achieve the world record. And I wasn't the only gamer during that period to take such an approach. I remember reading in a video gaming magazine about how the world champion of Williams Defender at the time, I can't remember his name, took extensive notes in mastering the game. And I had to learn all these games on my own because there was no one locally who was playing on the level I was striving for, whereas today's gamers have the advantage of the internet. Imagine for a moment a world without the internet. Young people of today may not even be able to do that. So it's easier today to get helpful information and tricks for a given game, but that also creates a double-edged sword. More people have more ready access to helpful ideas, which tends to set the bar even higher. And so if you strive to push the envelope and excel everyone else, there's a point at which you still need to go solo in figuring things out. So in a nutshell, that's what my video game experience involved, and what I would like to convey to the younger generation of players. And once again, I would like to thank all the folks who have directly or indirectly helped me in achieving recognition within this great hobby of ours, and I wish a prosperous future to the International Video Game Hall of Fame.
David Palmer, Golden Age gamer. A lot of information that gamers can extract from that acceptance speech and become better gamers. The next person on this list is Jeff Peters, Golden Age gamer. I have a bio that's like 17 pages long for Jeff Peters, but he is a Golden Age gamer, and he has multiple records. The things that really hold some credence are the ones that he still holds, that he was a founder of the modern-day U.S. national video game team, and he serves on it now even. Boy, I know there's a mashup video here that may speak better of this than me reading his whole list of accomplishments, but he has also worked on such notable properties as Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, Madden, Tetris, Monopoly, Metro 233, and Tiger Woods. Worked for Viacom, Disney, Amblin, Warner Brothers, DC, Hasbro, and if you're looking for a job, if you just talk to Jeff, he knows everybody. So, Jeff Peters.
You know, the coolest thing about that video is it has pictures of me with hair. I like that. So thank you for the International Video Game Hall of Fame Committee. Honored to be up here. IVGHOF, have someone figured out how to say the acronym appropriately yet? No? Oh well. And to think, it was either that or be a lawyer way back when. The last time I was in Ottumwa was 35 years ago, living in the back of the Twin Galaxies arcade. How I got there and how I got there from Southern California to there, that's a long story beyond the scope of tonight. But it is interesting, the ties and the roots and some of the pictures up there and how this journey has gone. Some of the fun stories of living in the back of an arcade, or like when the fire department finally found out we were living there and came in to kick us out. That was a fun day. Or that our shower was essentially a mop sink with a cardboard barrier around it. So I guess that prepared us for dorm life at some point. It's been a fun time in this business and trying to navigate it, you know, going from the dawn of competitive gaming, which is what we were trying to figure out at the time and be professional gamers, and navigate it through passion to kind of be part of this industry and figure out as the industry was going, all right, where is it going and how do we fit within this menagerie, if you will. And, you know, lots of stories have come from that time frame as well that are kind of fun. Some of these are I can't unsee, like the time watching Billy Mitchell walk a full centipede cabinet into a bathroom stall. The first time I met Walter Day when he brought his entourage out to Starship Video in Southern California, we got to meet that crew for the first time. Or playing in a tournament in Los Angeles and having all the TV crews throw their spotlights in the middle of the last game of Cheyenne that I was playing. And for anyone that knows, a light gun game, spotlights and light gun games don't go together. So that was miserable. And then, of course, being able to say that I actually traveled to other countries as a professional video game player and competitor to compete against their national teams. That was kind of fun. But really, I think this career of mine started with Walter and enabling this competitive streak that I had. There was an arcade called JJ's Arcade in Rancho Cucamonga, California that used to put high scores above their arcade games. And I thought, ooh, I want to be on those plaques. I want to be up there. And then I found Starship Video, which not only had the same thing, but they had a plaque that had world records on it. So not just local, not just the arcade, but ooh, best in the world, best in the US. And that was kind of the connection to Twin Galaxies. So that unfortunately enabled me, and lawyer went to the side and got to find a way to continue with this video game business. Although I still believe arguing is a competitive sport, so I haven't given that up yet. I have to give credit to my parents for putting up with me on this journey. As ill-advised as some of their support may have been, I guess maybe it worked out in the end. Like, for example, the U.S. National Video Game Team and EGM were started out of my grandmother's house. I don't know how parents support those types of weird things, but as it took off and grew, I guess their support in us was kind of well-founded. I guess they knew more than I did. It's been fun over the last 30-plus years to be part of trends in gaming consoles and arcades and traveling and brands and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's been a good journey. I still believe in competitive gaming and am thrilled to see where esports is going. Back in the 80s, and as part of the stuff we did with the U.S. National Video Game Team, we always envisioned this video game Olympics where 30 to 50,000 people went to a stadium and watched someone play Ms. Pac-Man or Centipede or Galaga or Dig Dug. And for lots of reasons it didn't happen then, but hey, that's exactly what's happening right now with more people now viewing it online, which I think is absolutely fantastic, that we can recognize that playing video games is a competitive thing and it's a skill-based sport. I believe in preservation after all this time and restoring history and recognizing that, hey, we're now almost a 50-year-old industry. It's a true art form. It's a legitimate business. It's the only growth form of entertainment still going on right now, and to still support this. If you're interested in the history of the U.S. National Video Game Team, you can go to the usnationalvideogameteam.com and look at the history and all the documents and stuff we've been preserving there. I also restore pinball machines and arcade games as well and try and help out that community. And at this point, also believe in trying to give back to the community as much as possible. For example, I teach a business course in the video game industry up at the University of Utah, specifically to help new game designers and game developers of navigate this thing fair? How do I make money with this stuff? As well as run a nonprofit organization in Utah called the Utah Digital Entertainment Network, or UDEN, which is about building the community, building the sector, getting the film and video game communities to work together, helping talent grow, all that type of stuff. So it's fun to be in that position and to look for ways to give back and help inspire the new generation. And if my journey here of going from competitive gamer to developer is inspiration for someone else, great, let them see that that's a path to turn this into, you know, a career and something fun to do. People have asked me what I do over the years, and I just simply tell them, I make fun. Because to me, that's what it is, and I'm still doing that today, still actively developing projects and developing stuff in the gaming industry, and currently working on stuff that's years out there and trying to leapfrog where things are. So here's to the next 30 plus years of where this business goes, and hopefully fun, and thank you guys very much for this offer. Honored.
This Street Fighter 2. And we have a video we're going to queue up on Street Fighter 2. Go for it.
Hello everyone, my name is Yoshinori Ono and I'm the executive producer for the Street Fighter series. I'm sorry Branka, and I couldn't make it to your exciting event this weekend. The Street Fighter 2 induction into the International Video Games Hall of Fame is a great honor. I'm accepting this award on behalf of the entire Street Fighter development team. Thanks to the event organizer, everyone attending the event, and to our Street Fighter fans all over the world. We greatly appreciate all of your support. Now, those who know me know what's coming next. 3, 2, 1, Shoryuken! Alright, thank you very much.
Street Fighter 2, one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time. I'm gonna reintroduce International Video Game Hall of Fame President Jerry Byram for a quick announcement.
We also do, not only do we honor current inductees, we'd like to take a minute and honor some of the inductees we've lost. So with that, Todd.
Gone but not forgotten. The next inductee, Super Mario. Pretty interesting stuff here we have. It's a 1996 platform video game for Nintendo 64. The first series to feature 3D dimensional gameplay. It's acclaimed as one of the greatest video games of all time. I kind of have to agree with that. That's why it's up here. And the first game to receive a perfect score from Edge magazine. Numerous developers have cited Super Mario 64 as an influence on their later games. And we have Hall of Fame Michael Klug, class of 2017, accepting on behalf.
It's my honor to accept this award on behalf of Nintendo. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Doom. Doom is one of the most significant games in video game history. It's frequently cited as the greatest game of all time. Doom helped define first-person shooter genre, inspired numerous similar games known as Doom clones. You gotta do it really deep, Doom clones. It pioneered the online distribution technologies, including 3D graphics and network multi-gaming players. Accepting on behalf will be John Romero, one of the creators.
Hi, this is John Romero, and I am accepting the award for Doom on behalf of the original id Software team in 1993. This is for the International Video Game Hall of Fame for a 1990s era game. This is class of 2019. So when we were going to start making Doom, out of all the games that we had made, it was the only game that we had said at the very beginning, this needs to be the best game that we can even imagine playing. We never said that for Wolfenstein 3D, and we didn't say it for Quake. It was just for Doom, because we wanted that game to really, really matter. And so we did a lot of really great planning at the very beginning, and we knew that what we were going to make was going to be something that people hadn't seen before, even though we didn't know what it was, what it was going to end up looking like. But we did know a bullet point list of technology achievements that we wanted to make. And unbelievably, at the very beginning of making Doom, we put out a press release in January of 1993 telling the world that there's going to be a new era of PC programming because of this game. It was crazy that we did that, but we think that we knew what we were doing. So we worked really hard on it. There was just 5 of us at the very beginning, and it was a lot of exploration. It was a lot of R&D on creating an engine that was that fast, and creating an abstract level design style that hadn't been seen before, to make levels that were really fun to play. So we did this over the course of a whole year. It was such a hard effort that in the middle of the year, one of us left. Tom Hall left the team, and we brought in Dave Taylor and Sandy Peterson to complement me and John Carmack and Kevin Cloud and Adrian Carmack. And so we had a team of 6 people to finally finish the game. And those last months were really busy. We had to basically put deathmatch in the game. We made a really fast multiplayer game at that time, which really wasn't around. So it was super fast. It was deathmatch. It was co-op. It played on every single level, of which Doom at that time it had, I think, 27 levels when we released the game. So it had a lot of gameplay in it. And we released the very first episode of the game as shareware, which was a really innovative concept back then. So it was kind of free to play. We let people download it for free, play it, and if they didn't like it, they didn't need to buy any more. And if they did like it, then they could actually call up a 1-800 number and give their credit cards to us, so then we could buy it. Things have really changed since then, but people really wanted their Doom fix back then. And after Doom came out, it really influenced the rest of the industry in this new type of game that people eventually called a first-person shooter. They didn't know what to call it at the time, but they called them Doom clones, and that's what they were until the term first-person shooter appeared around 1996. So there were lots of, we made the game moddable. The game has been blessed with mods for decades now. Every day new mods and levels come out for Doom, and it's still growing. So it's a huge community. We're really grateful for it, and you know, we are you know, great. There was great work by the current team in 2016. Actually, it took like about 7 years for this team to make an amazing new version of Doom in 2016, just called Doom. And the new Doom Eternal is about to come out this year, and everybody's looking forward to it because the first one, you know, because Doom 2016 knocked it out of the park. Everybody knows Doom Eternal is going to be a great game. So, you know, it's a great legacy, and it continues to live on even over 25 years later. And I'm really proud to have been part of the team that made it. Thanks.
John Romero, Doom. If you play a first-person shooter, you can thank him. Our next inductee is Ryan Hart, one of the first sponsored fighting game players who won the UK title at the age of 17, first world title at the age of 19 in Japan, 4 Guinness World Records, most successful champion ever to come from Europe, and one of the longest careers spanning over 25 years. So we do have a video, and I will be accepted on behalf of Ryan Hart.
Hey everyone, just wanted to send this video to say a big thank you to the team for putting this together. Thank you for considering me for an inductee into the International Video Game Hall of Fame. It feels extremely prestigious to even be considered for something like this, so I am truly grateful for that. It's a shame I couldn't be there in person, but it's a long trip for me and I have a lot happening right now, so that wasn't possible. But hopefully this video and me being there in spirit will suffice. So thank you guys once more, and I wish you all a great evening. Goodbye.
Thank you, Ryan. One of the greatest fighting game players ever. Our next inductee is Super Smash Melee. I'm gonna read just a little bit for you. It's received critical acclaim, several awards, acknowledgments from various publications, achieved strong sales, and became GameCube's best-selling title with over 7 million copies sold by 2008. Feel like smashing something now, right? Okay, our next inductee. If you haven't heard about it, I can't believe you're still living, because it is Fortnite. Fortnite. Just a few quick notes, may already be up there. Created by Epic Games, Fortnite became a resounding success, drawing more than 125 million players in less than a year, earning hundreds of millions of dollars per month. Since then, it's become a cultural phenomenon. Okay, not to be outdone, our next inductee is Assassin's Creed. It has several award nominations, including Best Game of the Year awards. It's commercially sold over 100 million copies as of September 2016. It is Ubisoft's highest selling franchise game. Not to mention, there's an Assassin's Creed movie too. So pretty interesting stuff, Assassin's Creed. Okay, so our next inductee is here, and I have tormented him several times over the years. Donald Hayes. Donald Hayes. You got information up on Don? Don is arguably one of the most underrated gamers in the world. He is in 2000s gamer, but if he was a few years older, he would have been a classic gamer because he excels at classic games. He has Centipede, Dig Dug. I'm not going to say Joust because that's my game, but he's pretty freaking good at that too. Normal speed and turbo speed, arcade, emulator. He's just really hard to beat at any game. Don Hayes, well-deserved 2000s gamer inductee.
Hi everyone. I'm dressed up today. They told me it was an important thing here. It's like seeing Bigfoot. Yeah, I don't dress up very often, but very happy to accept this nomination to the International Video Game Hall of Fame. Growing up in the 80s, I never really imagined this is where it would lead to. I wasn't well known back in the 80s. I lived in a small town in northern New Hampshire, so playing games was just something fun for me to do, and it just continued on. And just a quick story about when I first met Walter was at a Fun Spot tournament in New Hampshire in 2000. He saw me playing Millipede, and he said, wow, you're really high-level play and like this. And I said, well, I'm actually better at Centipede. I went on to score 3.7 million at that tournament, and later on I got the world record, and that was my first world record on Centipede later that year. So just like to thank the committee again for this honor. Like to thank my family for supporting me all these years, and just happy to be here and to visit. Thank you.
Our next inductee, Peter Hahn, and Doc Mack is here to do his introduction and acceptance. Doc?
Thank you so much. Pete really wanted to be here. Unfortunately, he had a previous engagement. I have watched Pete from the time he started coming to the Galloping Ghost Arcade. And while at the start of it, high scores were not his top priority. And over the years that he's been coming, not only has he helped build the community behind the arcade, but he got into scoring in a major way. His first forte was in the fighting game community, which we had him on our Team Galloping Ghost, which he excelled and did phenomenally well in so many tournaments. And as the fighting community changed, he then turned his focus solely on high score gaming. And watching him set record after record and focus specifically on literally anything on the arcade floor as it would come in, from shooters and shmups, even some classics, fighting games. I've never seen such a consistent amount of effort go into setting scores and world records. So on behalf of Pete Hahn, we appreciate this award. So thank you.
Hello, this is Pete Hahn here. Just wanted to take a few minutes and first of all apologize for not being able to be there in person today. I am going to be at my brother's wedding. I am a groomsman at his wedding, and I'm going to be spending the day there, so I apologize for not being able to be here in person to receive this great honor. But first of all, just wanted to say thank you so much to the International Video Game Hall of Fame for choosing me. This is an amazing honor that I'd never in 100 years thought I'd be worthy of, and I'm humbled that I've been chosen. Just taking a look at the inductees this year, being inducted with Donald Hayes, the man's a living legend, and to be inducted and be among a name like that's just incredible. So thank you so much for choosing me. I also wanted to say thank you to Toma's Old School Pinball and Arcade. They're great hosts and host the trading card ceremonies and the events like the ones here today, so thank you so much to them. I wanted to say a very, very huge thank you to Doc Mack, who is the owner of Galloping Ghost Arcade, who is also being inducted today. Without his location, the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield has not only given me a place to be a member of the great community there, but also Doc has advocated for me and really kind of gotten my name out there, and I don't think people would even know who I was without Galloping Ghost Arcade and Doc Mack kind of being the advocate for so many players at the arcade there. And speaking of the arcade, the local scene at Galloping Ghost is just amazing. So I want to say thank you so much to all the players there who have supported me, competed with me, hung out with me, You all know who you are. You know, Jamie Tibbetts, Matt Walters, James White, Fred DeHart, Peter Gores, Chris Plackey, Andrew, Tom Christie, and everyone that shows up there Mondays. You know, we got a great group there. Got a great group of employees, great group of regulars, and the camaraderie between everyone there just is it's incredible. So I do want to say thank you for supporting me in this. I also want to say thank you to my wife for being very supportive of my hobby, whether it be you know, attending events, whether it be just giving me time to practice and be away from her and other events, but she is super supportive, so thank you, Kristen. So it's very much appreciated. But I do apologize once again. I can't be here today to accept this honor, and thank you again so much to the International Video Game Hall of Fame for choosing me. I am very, very appreciative and humbled, and that's about all I've got. So have a great rest of your night. Take care.
Peter Hahn, inductee. Our next inductee is Richard Allen Garriott. I'm going to read a little bit. Very, very interesting person. Richard is an English video game developer and entrepreneur. He's also known by his alter egos, which so am I. Lord British in the Ultima and General British series. Garriott is also the son of a NASA astronaut. He was originally a game designer and programmer involved in a number of aspects in computer development. And I'm going to bring up Board of Director Julie Barwick to accept and comment a little bit because she had the most interaction with him.
I'm honored to accept this award for Richard Garriott in his absence. Richard is a very interesting person if you don't know much about him. He changed somewhat the gaming industry by allowing audience participation in the development of his games, and so that was one of the first persons to do that. He also is an astronaut, and one of the things that he has done is provided DNA samples that are now up in space to preserve our world in case it's destroyed. So very, very interesting man if you get a chance to read about him. While I have the mic for a few seconds, I would like to remind you that after the ceremony at 5:30, we will be doing the autographs, and so that will be in this room to your left. And so come in and meet all the inductees that are here and get their signed card. Thank you.
Okay, on to our next celebrity, Brian F. Colin. Brian is an American video game designer and artist and animator, among his most well-known for coin-operated, it's not moving, coin-operated arcade games like Rampage. Wasn't there a Rampage movie too? Were you in that, Brian? I thought I saw you. Yeah, I thought I saw Brian in that. I was going, I know him. Okay, but I digress as I do normally. Arch Rivals, Rampage, the World Tour, General Chaos for the Sega console. He's also the CEO of Game Refuge, an independent video game design and development studio with offices in Downers Grove, Illinois. He has been noted for his work in the field of bit mapping video game graphics and animation, creating video game sprites and tiled background graphics with recognizable, identifiable style. Other than that, he's just kind of a cool dude. Brian F. Colin.
Well deserved, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm not going to get choked up, but I really appreciate it. That's not true. I am going to get choked up. This means so much to me. You have no idea, for a lot of reasons. I don't follow the industry. I make games for a living. I make games for fun. I make games more than I play games. So I never really know what's going on. I've been making games for 37 years. I backed into it. I thought I was going to Bally to apply for a job as a pinball artist because I had pen and ink kind of style, and they said, no, we want you to do art for video games. And I'm thinking, Pac-Man, really? And I was, making a solid living at the time, doing, ads for bars and getting paid in beer and popcorn. So I figured, no, this. And they called and they said, no, we want you to come work for us and we're going to pay you a salary. And I choked up then. I'm hanging up the phone and I turned and some friends of mine were standing around and I hung up the phone and I said, that's it. Childhood's over. I've got a real job. And I was wrong on both counts. It has never been anything like a real job, and I've been blessed to be able to be a child for the next 37 years. And because I don't follow the community, because I don't follow the industry, I just wait till someone taps me on the shoulder and I make games for them. I had no idea communities were coming back and the arcade world was coming back until I met somebody actually that got me here today just a few years ago, include me into that. People remember what I did back then and the contributions I made, and it means so much to find out 30 years later, 37 years later, that people still remember. So thank you all for remembering. Thank you for the Hall of Fame for this. It really, I'm going to turn it around because I don't want to make the mistake of standing up here like this and just looking at it because it looks great. But thank you all so much. And I don't want to ramble because those that know me know I will ramble. Thanks again. Thank you very much.
Brian F. Colin did not ask me to be in the movie. Just saying. I could have been in the movie. Brian, I was available. Rampage 2 is coming out. Okay, just saying. Industry leader, on to industry leader. We really looked high and low for the most qualified people, the vetting committee, the nominating committee, and this person stood out so brightly. Bonnie Ross, and I'm going to read a little bit of her bio, and it's going to be tossed up there, and then we're going to have a video. Bonnie Ross, Microsoft Corporation Vice President, head of 343 Industries. She's the person over Halo. Halo, yeah, that's right. As a corporation vice president at Microsoft and head of 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross is responsible for defining the vision and leading the Halo franchise. In 2007, she founded 343 Industries, an entertainment studio that committed to fostering the growth and expansion of the Halo franchise, as well as driving innovation across Microsoft platforms. Ross is passionate about bringing together art and technology, transforming how people experience entertainment. Ross is also deeply involved in promoting efforts to drive diversity across game industries and generate interest among women and children in the pursuit of science, technology, engineering, and math STEM careers, which is one of our things, is STEM. Commitment to building diverse stories and characters has helped 343 Industries create immersive, blockbusting science fiction entertainment experiences within the Halo universe. Halo has a legion of fans with over 6 billion, not million, 6 billion worldwide sales to date that has transcended video games and grown into a global phenomenon. Over the past 12 years, Ross has pushed to broaden the franchise reach and define Halo as a leader in transmedia across the entire entertainment industry, including Halo series of video games, upcoming Halo television series by Showtime, live action series such as Halo Forward into Dawn and Halo Nightfall, in addition to 12 of 17 Halo novels have been named to the New York bestsellers list, and Halo consumer products generating over 1.7 billion. So besides the game, the peripherals, 1.7 billion. Ross brings over 20 years of experience to the game industry, beginning her gaming career as a producer on PC sports. She's worked on such titles as NBA Inside Drive, Pandora's Box, Zoo, Tycoon, Dungeon Siege, Counter-Strike, Gears of War, Jade Empire, Psychonauts, Mass Effect, Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach, Halo Anniversary, Halo Spartan Assault, Halo Spartan Strike, Halo 4. Let's see. And Bonnie has been named the 2019 inductee into the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame, and has been named one of the Fortune's most powerful women in gaming. Additionally, Ross has been a key part of the Ad Council's She Can Sim campaign. Bonnie Ross.
Hello, everyone. I am so sorry that I can't be at today's ceremony to celebrate what we all love with video games. I am truly humbled to be inducted into the International Video Game Hall of Fame. Thank you to the voting committee, Walter Day, and the board of directors for this honor. I grew up in the 80s, so my childhood teen years were spent at the mall, Spencer's, iron-on t-shirts, and the arcade. I spent many a quarter on Centipede, Galaxian, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Tempest. But I never imagined back then that there was a career in making video games. Growing up, my sisters and I all played sports games. So my first owned video game experience was that handheld Mattel electronic basketball game. And my love of sports ultimately landed me my first job in the video game industry working on PC sports games for Microsoft. Like many of you, when Halo Combat Evolved launched with the first Xbox, I didn't just fall in love with the game, I fell in love with the Halo universe. So imagine my luck in 2007 when I was handed the keys to steward this amazing Halo universe that I love. Halo is beloved and has lasted nearly 2 decades thanks to all the talented developers, designers, artists, and storytellers that have defined this universe, from the original creators at Bungie to our team at 343 Industries. It is a privilege to represent this franchise and all of those that have contributed to its success, especially the loyal Halo fans. Thank you to all of the gamers out there, as your passion fuels our creativity. Enjoy the rest of the ceremony. Thank you.
Bonnie Ross from Halo. Our next inductee, we're going to do something a little different. It's Doc Mack, but we just had somebody inducted, Brian F. Colin, and he is going to do the intro for Doc Mack. If you would. Brian F. Colin for Doc Mack. So we like have a movie star doing Doc Mack, right? Here we go. You would present that to Doc, I'd appreciate it.
I would be delighted. I would be delighted. It's also an honor to introduce this next guy. You all know who he is. He is a legend in his own mind. No, he is a legend. I wasn't aware of him until a half dozen years ago when my social media director said, "How do you not know this guy? It's the most incredible arcade." He introduced me. We immediately got along and spent hours discussing and arguing. I'm sorry, let's just stay with discussing. Game concepts and game history and where the world was, and I learned a ton from him. And one of the things I'm most grateful for learning from him was that people still remembered stuff that, that had been done for 30 years. So he introduced me to this whole culture. And one of the things I remember back in some of our early discussions was, we'd talk about what he wants to do on the development side, and we'd talk about what he wants to do. And it's like, "So what do you really want to do, Doc?" And he's like, "I want to bring back the arcades to the world." And I rolled my eyes. I'm a little older than Doc, and you kind of just say, I shrug, and it's like, yeah, no. Why don't you lower your sights a little bit? That's not a vision that any one person can achieve. And I'm also the guy that predicted the internet was a fad and nobody needed more than 3 channels and beta over VHS. So I'm so happy to be proved wrong, because he has done so much for the global gaming, for the global arcade community, in that everything he does is about bringing arcades back to the world, and what he shares of his knowledge. He's a wonderful guy, and I didn't mean to go into this much detail. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to tell you people things you don't know about Doc. So I did a little private investigating, and I found out some things from a number of people that are very close to him. Questions that the industry needs to know. For example, what is Doc Mac's favorite marsupial? It is the possum. I've been told with some authority, what is his in RGB values, what is his favorite color? 00000, which is black to you and me. And in that same vein, anybody that knows Doc knows that, you know, he's known for his wardrobe, and it's usually pretty standard. So I asked, you know, I said, okay, now, he's known for wearing black. Does he own a Hawaiian shirt, a Christmas tie, or a lacy underwear of any kind? And someone investigated and said they were not able to find any of that in his closets, but they did find over 100 different Galloping Ghost shirts. So we know that now. And this is the one that really got me from day one, and you can see it right there. He's always smiling. So, you know, I had to ask. I said, you know, is this because he doesn't know what's going on? Or is he picturing everyone naked? All right? And this answer I got to share, even though I hate to do it because it's so heartfelt. But the conclusion that was reached that he's simply really, really, really a good guy. I've got a lot more of these, and this runs way too long. I mean, he's got a couple main obsessions, engines and arcades, obviously. So I asked if it was true that the rumor was true that he was trying to convert a Star Trek Voyager capsule into a street legal vehicle. That one was not confirmed. Let's see. You know, he has a signature hairstyle, so I asked about what his opinion was on man buns, and the guess was probably negative. His generosity, you know, like I say, he shares everything with everyone. His generosity is legendary, and I asked if he would remember loaning me $11 to that cocktail waitress that one time, and they said no. And even if he did, he wouldn't make me pay it back. So the only real thing that you need to know is what does he plan to do once he has got an arcade in every neighborhood in America? And the quote was the same thing Brain usually tells Pinky: try to take over the world. So without any more of this nonsense, please welcome the best man I know in Arcadia, Doc Mac. Please accept this award.
Thank you so much for this. It's definitely, truly an honor to get called out for doing what I do, which is essentially just get to hang out with great people, talk to industry legends like Brian Colin and Jeff Lee and Ed Boon, and it's been amazing to be in on creating a place where it puts the spotlight on the players and the industry people. And I've seen so many people be happy from going to that place. I've seen people who have done great things get the accolades that they have deserved for so terribly long within this community. And it's just truly an honor to be a part of it. It's truly an honor to receive this award. And Brian had mentioned, what do you do once there's an arcade in every city? And the goal is to get other companies to make more arcade games and keep growing it, keep growing the community, keep acknowledging players and the developers, and just take gaming to new heights that it's seen some great days, and it can continue to shine and become bigger and bigger and enjoyed by people all around the world. So I thank you so much for this. It means so much to me. So thank you, everybody.
So that was a Community Action Award, and that means he just does a lot in our community for gamers and games and production, and pretty rad place. If you've never been to Galloping Ghost, I suggest you go. It'll blow your mind. It's so big, and there's so many games. Our next inductee is also a Community Action Award. It's an organization called Video Game Palooza. I'm going to read a little bit about it, and then we're going to invite Rick up here to accept on behalf, who is one of the creators. Video Game Palooza was created as a way to give back and create awareness of several pressing challenges facing the video game industry, such as STEM research, STEM learning, the increase in diversity of the game industry by increasing the number of women in the field. A nonprofit organization they have set up, organized the Video Game Palooza Foundation, an industry charity dedicated to the improving of lives of people of all ages by utilizing video games and interactive technologies, and by offering education, awareness, and activism within the world of video games. By hosting events and taking donations, Video Game Palooza looks to make a difference in someone's life by the power of video games. By the power of video games, change. Rick.
Thank you very much. Hello. Thanks on behalf of myself and Carol, who you're going to hear about in a second, to the International Video Game Hall of Fame for this, wonderful nomination. And it was, it's really a blessing. And so really quickly, I'm just going to give a little overview. I've always felt in games like the luckiest person on the face of the planet, because over my career, which I'm not going to talk about now because that's not the focus, I've got to really do what I have loved to do, and that's create. And I've created a bunch of different companies and software companies and gaming companies, and it's about how do we give back to the people and our customers. And so when we did Video Game Palooza, the best thing about it is I got to do it with my wife. And it's really cool because the way we put this together, it's from a totally different background. I'm a gamer and she's not a gamer. And quite frankly, a lot of the things that we're doing and meeting from presidents of large companies, large universities, typically they're not going to listen to a gamer and a kind of a coder, geek, as Kara calls me myself. But you know what? When they talk to and hear Kara, which comes from an educational background and an educator, the beautiful thing about that is, we talk about creation, it comes to a different area of creation. And so it's very important. When we started the company, we did so with some friends, Brenda Romero, who is, so thank you, Brenda, the wife of John Romero, with a lot of her advice, and Kate Edwards, if any of you know Kate, formerly of the IGDA, two very, very powerful females in the industry. And what we've started out to do was to really create equality in gaming for, not only, women, but people, everybody in general. So we created this school. So what I wanted to do is bring up my wife, because really none of this would be possible, what we're doing today, without my wife, Kara. So come on up. And really, it's really because of Kara why we're even up here. So, the introduction, she didn't know I was going to bring her up and do this, but I wanted her because what she has to say is so impactful that literally she's spoken already in front of, 4,000 people at the Pacers Arena, 4,000 IPS kids, and she just mesmerizes them. So, Kara, sorry about that.
Okay,
Take it away.
I'm going to be choked up, but
sorry about that.
My husband told me about 2 months before we were going to get married that he was buying a company out of Chicago, and 15 professional Halo players were coming to live with us. We did get married. I said the boys, which are my bonus sons, need to go be with their mom because I didn't know what riffraff was coming to my house. I was scared, you know. Who are they? Have they showered in a couple months? Or what are they doing? And I enlisted my parents to come help me feed them and do whatever, and I was terrified. And that's not what showed up. These players showed up, and guess what? They were athletes. And I didn't really know that until anyone that's in this mall right now that hears the word ninja. Anyone? I sat down watching 2 professional Halo teams playing each other, which is a 4-on-4 with the coach behind them, and he sat down next to me and he said, well, Carol, what do you see? I said, they're shooting each other, it's stupid, quote. And he said, well, actually, they're kind of playing capture the flag. So I took my mom hat off, I put on my teacher hat, 25th educator in my family, and I went, wait, there's synchronization, there's leadership, there's communication, there's everything that as a mom and as a teacher we try and instill in our kids, they're doing it. And I went, huh. And they got up and they went and did yoga and they lifted weights and they went out and shot baskets and they wanted organic things, and it completely shocked me. So my role in this industry with Bonnie and Kate and Brenda and all them is to talk to the moms and the dads and say, guess what? This is a good thing. It is a great thing. You want your kid to get a scholarship to go to college? Encourage it. But also, it's the best parenting tool on the face of the planet. Take it away. Grades drop. It's wonderful. So Billy, Walter, everyone from the committee, thank you for honoring my husband and myself and Video Game Palooza, because we started this. I had a 5th grader who wouldn't learn his math facts. My husband handed me an Xbox controller. It's a flash card. He learned them in a week. So we need to embrace this. For those of us that didn't grow up with it, we need to embrace this industry, and it is so important. And it's incredible. So, anyhow, I talked too long. Anyhow, thank you, and God bless everyone.
One last inductee, the Walter Day Lifetime Achievement Award. It's only fitting for the first comments to come from the man himself, Walter Day. Let's tell you who it is, and then we're going to bring one other special guest up. Walter, take it away.
I only have a few words about this because Triforce actually is a major industry leader who knows Reggie better than anybody. But Reggie is like the leader of Nintendo of America. He is he was the president of Nintendo of America, who led them on all their initiatives for making Nintendo one of the biggest brands, one of the biggest successes in video game history. And so he was there for a whole career, and that's why he's getting a career award. So we're very honored to have Reggie Fils-Aimé be the Lifetime Achievement Award winner for the class of 2019. And here's a video from him.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
We would like to play.
My body is ready.
I'm here with my man, Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo of America.
You're battling enemies here. Yeah. You're going to be sending arrows from the gamepad right to these enemies.
You're doing good.
You're doing
really
good.
Here. Yeah.
You've got unlimited arrows. Just keep firing. Team, we're going to be powering through some meetings all day today, but to keep us going, I got us some snacks. Bill! 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 Bill!
This is not the Switch.
This is the Nintendo Switch.
This is it? Oh, I'm geeking out. I'm geeking out right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isaiah Triforce Johnson. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. Okay, there we go. I'd like to consider myself perhaps the biggest Nintendo fan in the world, and I can vouch for this man, Reggie Fils-Aimé, who is the former president of Nintendo of America. I want to go over Reggie's entire career, not just in the video game industry, but his connection to the video game communities around the world. Reggie is an award-winning innovator and a disruptor who has helped to bring the Nintendo DS, the Wii, the Nintendo 3DS, the Wii U, and the Nintendo Switch to the global marketplace. Reggie joined Nintendo of America in December of 2003 as an executive vice president of sales, marketing, and other executive activities in the Nintendo company. In May 2006, he was promoted to president and chief operating officer of Nintendo of America. Reggie ran the day-to-day operations of Nintendo of America and was responsible for all the activities Nintendo did within the United States of America, Canada, and Latin America. In 2016, he was appointed as a member of the Global Executive Officer Committee of Nintendo Company Limited. Prior to joining Nintendo, Reggie was a senior vice president of marketing in VH1. That's something I didn't even know. Part of the MTV networks and a division of Viacom. During his tenure at VH1, Reggie engineered the channel's redirection to a younger market for younger viewers and the next generation, which kind of makes sense of how he led Nintendo so well moving forward. That resulted in over 30% ratings growth. And it created and executed the market plans for the Concert for New York, which he raised more than $35 million for a disaster relief fund in the wake of September 11th, 2001. He's a graduate of Cornell University. Reggie began his career as a proctor at Procter & Gamble. He would later bring his innovative and creative problem-solving skills to the restaurant and the beverage industries that he was a part of. He also worked in a private equity for a global durable goods initiative, which served its purpose. Beyond his business success, Reggie believes in a principled approach when addressing challenges and opportunities. Creative and non-linear thinking are common elements to his biggest business and personal accomplishments, and is one of the foremost reasons why Nintendo has made a huge push in the last 15 years. Since retiring, he focused his energies to grow the next generation of business leaders. In August 2019, he was named Cornell University's Dyson Undergraduate Business School Leader in residence, where he instructs students on leadership and innovation. So this is long after he's left Nintendo, he's still looking to find ways to lead the next generation. Reggie also founded the Brentwood Growth Partners to help emerging companies scale and enable leaders to create world-class cultures. As you already know, he retired in April 2019, this year, with worldwide acclaim as an executive who loved leading his business and interactions with its employees, its businesses, their associates, and most importantly, his customers. I'd like to take the time to express his involvement with the customers, which Nintendo fans around the world have come to know and love him as perhaps one of Nintendo's greatest leaders of all time. Personally, my experience with Reggie was more of, he was like a father, my second father, obviously, definitely for gaming. Actually, yeah, that puts Walter behind him. But I used to go out and stand on lines and launch video games for Nintendo to be the first person in North America to receive the newest Nintendo product. And Reggie would always make it a point to come out and greet me with the first purchase. There's times he's come out, he said, "You okay? I've been in the cold, the snow. Give me some hot chocolate, something warm." And he was always there. And it's not just for me. I've seen Reggie do this for all of the gamers he's ever interacted with, whether he was at E3 or whether he was at any type of video game function, from Smash Brothers tournaments to even street teams. So Reggie Fils-Aimé is definitely deserving of this award. I'm glad that he got this. I actually nominated him earlier this year for the International Video Game Hall of Fame. And congratulations, Reggie. You deserve this. Thank you.
Hello, International Video Game Hall of Fame. Reggie here. Thank you for honoring me with the prestigious Walter Day Lifetime Achievement Award. To be honored in this way and to be associated with Walter himself and with past recipients of this award, Steve Wozniak, David Crane, David Bishop, to name just a few, it really, truly is humbling. It's also wonderful to be recognized in a year when so much Nintendo content is also being recognized. That makes it a special thrill for me. I also want to thank the person who made some introductory comments on my behalf earlier this evening, Isaiah Triforce Johnson. Triforce and I met back in 2004 at E3, and then I saw him again later on that year when I presented him the very first Nintendo DS sold in the Americas. And it was my privilege to see Triforce at other E3s, as well as whenever Nintendo introduced a new system or a critical new game, because Triforce would always be first in line, and I would be the one presenting him his new purchase. Triforce, thank you for being such a force in the industry and such a force in putting my name forward for this prestigious award. Thank you so much. Lastly, I want to thank the players and the fans. Like you, I have a passion for video games. And I was a fan before I was ever an employee of Nintendo. And I think that knowledge of video games, I think the knowledge of all of these great franchises, the ability to poke fun at myself to create all of those wonderful memes, I think that is what endeared me with the community. And I do believe that the love of the community is a large part of why I'm able to receive this award. Thank you. For all of you there in person, all of you watching this on video, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate
being recognized this way. Thank you, and have a great evening.
That concludes the class of 2019 induction ceremony. I'm going to turn you back over to Hall of Fame President Jerry Byram for some closing remarks and directions.
If it hadn't been for Walter Day and what he started in 1981, we wouldn't be here today. Quite frankly, we would not be here today. The passion in the industry, the passion that we all have to preserve what he started and to maintain, sustain, and move it forward, it wouldn't happen. So again, Walter Day, thank you for everything you've given to us over the years. I hope that we as a group, a collective group, a community of gamers and industry leaders, everybody here can do you proud. We certainly are trying. Again, thank you to my committees, everybody on the ground who helped put this forward and take care of this. I absolutely could not do it without you. So here's my hand to you. Thank you. So I did forget, one friend that I've had in life forever, Dennis. He is my rock. Anytime I need something, he's my Mr. Dependable. And I couldn't do it without you and everybody here. So now here I go. So the Hall of Fame would just like to say thank you for everything. Dr. Pepper, Ashby's, Bubba Q's, Old School Pinball and Arcade. Visit every location in every town, working on 6, coming on 7. Thank you. Again, visit the vendors, buy a Dr. Pepper, get some food from Ashby's, go to Bubba Q's and have some delicious pork. That's how I want you to support us. That's how I want you to contribute to what we're trying to do. We had some great talent on this stage today. We had some people who we've been waiting to put in the Hall of Fame for many, many years. Doc and Jeff and Don and all of you folks who just, this is for you. I mean, all the contributions that you give to this industry, that you give to the love you show to Walter and everything that he brought to this. It's a great community and I'm proud to be part of it. So with that, I close. Thank you so much for coming out today. Please watch Facebook and anything new. There are many, many, many changes coming this year. The Hall of Fame is growing and moving, and with your help, we'll continue to do so. So thank you so much for coming. Again, thank you.